Merry Christmas, everyone. What's that? It's the new year? Oh, well. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of the most famous men in Hollywood. He is funny, he is charming, and he has big, massive muscles. Everyone likes Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and to be honest, I like him too, but I'm getting tired of him. This guy has been in movies every year since I was born. It only got worse in the 2010s. Since 2012, he's been in an average of 2.4 movies a year. Plus, he was the main character on a TV show, and he was in Fortnite. I really didn't have too much of a problem with Dwayne Johnson movies until I saw his new movie, Red Notice. This movie made me realize that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays the same character in pretty much every single movie. All of his characters are funny, charming, handsome, smart, super strong, and really good at fighting. He plays the character in Red Notice, he plays the character in the movie Skyscraper, and he plays it in the Fast and Furious series. I think my main issue with his movies are just how generic they are. Most of them don't have that much of a style, and they also have pretty mediocre, bland plots. Also, side note, the green screen in Red Notice looks so bad. If you look at the bullfighting scene, the green screen looks so obvious and so bad. I don't think I've seen many movies have green screen that bad. Dwayne Johnson is just the latest example of these action stars. I feel like every decade has a new one. The most famous of these has to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. In the 80s, Arnold was the man. In the early 80s, he starred in the Conan the Barbarian movies, but he didn't become a household name until 1984 with the release of The Terminator. The Terminator is kind of the perfect role for someone like Arnold because he doesn't speak a lot. And at the time, Arnold still had a pretty thick accent, and he also is not that great at acting. I don't think he's bad, but he's also not great. But after The Terminator, he was pretty much in a major action movie every year up until he retired. In 85, after The Terminator, there was Commando. The next year, there was Raw Deal. Next was The Running Man and The Predator in the same year. Then Red Heat in 89. Then in the 90s, he just kept going. In 1990 and 1991, there was Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, and Terminator 2. I'm sure you guys get what I'm saying. Arnold was huge. After Arnold became governor in 2002, we didn't really have an action star that big. I mean, maybe you could count someone like Tom Cruise, Jason Statham, Bruce Willis, Keanu Reeves, Mark Wahlberg maybe, or even early Rock performances to an extent. But they didn't have the hit-making power of Arnold. The Rock doesn't have the iconicness of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's why I'm tired of him. And his movies don't compare to Arnold's either. The Rock doesn't have a Terminator or Predator under his belt. I mean, you could maybe count Fast and Furious, but that I wouldn't even give that to him. Out of most of The Rock's movies, I can't really think of that many that stand out in any special way. They're all so meh. Red Notice is probably one of the best examples of this mediocrity, because I saw this very recently, and I don't really remember that much from it. And what I do remember, I don't really like that much. The action in it is serviceable. I've seen it done better in most movies, but I've also seen it done worse, so it's whatever. The CGI in this movie is pretty bad most of the time. I mean, the prison break scene looked pretty decent, but that bullfighting scene just looked awful. Oh my gosh. And then the scene where they're on the train and they're looking at the sunset, it looks so bad. All the critiques that I'm making for Red Notice, I can make for most of The Rock's other movies. Skyscraper, San Andreas, Hobbs and Shaw, all of them have the same issues. I mean, not every movie he's in is super bad though. I thought the first Jumanji movie he was in wasn't that bad. I haven't seen the second one yet though. I liked Jungle Cruise a lot actually. There's also this other movie called Journey 2 that came out a while ago. It's kind of bad, but I still really like it. Alright, I have nothing else to complain about. Here's a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by cheese. Don't eat too much of it or you're not gonna poop for a week. Okay, bye.